Good day, everyone. This will be the discussion of the problem set that I have given you last time. Let's start with number one. A man throws a ball upward from the top of a building at an angle of 30.0 degrees above the horizontal and with an initial speed of 20.0 meters per second at a point per second. per second. The point of release is 45.0 meters above the ground. Letter A, how long does it take for the ball to hit the ground? Letter B, find the horizontal range of the ball. And letter C, find the velocity of the ball just before it hits the ground. Based on our previous discussion, ang pinaka-start talaga kapag mag-solve tayo ng problems in physics is to draw our free body diagram. So una, meron daw tayong building. It is thrown from the top of the building. So drawing tayo ng building. Of course, na daw tao dre. Na tao. Tsarin. Mag-drawing ko sa color sa tao. Blue na lang akong tao ha. Blue. Di ba? And then ang bola na to kay green. Sige, green ang bola. So green ang bola. Then, kana daw ang bola. Okay? And that man throws that ball at an angle of 30.0 degrees with a horizontal. So, of course, it will follow this path. It will follow a trajectory, a parabolic path, until it will reach the ground. Nanalo din ang bola after some time. And then take note, the angle at which the ball is thrown is 30 degrees from the horizontal. So if this is the horizontal, the angle is 30.0 degrees. Ayan. Take note of that. And then ano pa yung given natin dito? With an initial speed of 20.0 meters per second. So our speed or velocity, so velocity is equal to 20.0 meters per second. So those are the given. Now take note, to solve for any problem in projectile motion, it is very important, hindi mo dapat kakalimutan yung implied given at the top of our motion. Okay? Baka kasi kailangan natin yan sa problem solving later. Alam natin the velocity along the y-axis at the top is 0 meters per second. Baka lang, kailangan natin yan later sa ating problem solving. Okay? Now, let us identify what are the required variables dito na problem. So, ano ba yung mga required natin? So, required. Ano ba yung mga required? Unang required, how long does it take for the ball to hit the ground? So, the time here, TA, and then TB. The total time. Yan ang hinahanap. For letter B, find the horizontal range. So, ibig sabihin, horizontal range, diba? That is dx. So, from the building hanggang sa kung saan naabot yung bola natin. Hanggang dito. Yan. This is the horizontal range or that is dx. Dx or the range. So, for letter B, ang hinahanap natin is ang range. And then for letter C, ang hinanap sa letter C is find the velocity of the ball just before it hits the ground. So dito, velocity just before it hits the ground. So final velocity. Talo pa. Okay. So for letter A, solution for letter A, ang hinahanap natin is time. Balikan agad natin yung mga equations natin, the kinematics equation. So these are the equations. Take note agad. Sige akong i-box para hindi na yan mawawala. Ayan. So, time ang hinahanap natin. Okay? So, identify muna natin ano yung vertical component and horizontal component of our velocity. So, VIX, alam natin yan, VIX is cosine of an angle. What is our angle? 30. Cosine of 30 times ano yung initial velocity? 20.0 meters per second. So lahat, given na lahat. So pwede na isolve natin yan diretso sa calculator kasi given naman. So cos 30.0 times 20.0. And that is 10 square root of 3. So that is 17. White na lang, white. That is 17. Our VIX is 17.332 0.05 meters per second. How many significant figures ang kailangan natin? We need 3 significant figures. So hanggang dito lang dapat ha. I-take note lang natin. Hindi pa natin yan i-round off. Bakit? Kasi hindi yan yung final answer natin. So i-take note lang natin na 3 significant figures lang yan. Hanggang sa 3 lang dapat. Now, VIY, alam din natin that VIY is equal to sine 30.0 times the initial velocity, which is 20.0 meters per second. We can already solve that kasi all the values are given. So, solve lang natin diretso. 20.0 times sine 30. And that is 10. 3 significant figures mo dapat. So 10.0 meters per second. So those are the horizontal and vertical components of our velocity. So ang hinahanap natin for letter A is time. Hanap tayo dito saan yung mayroong time. Yan, mayroong time dito sa first equation. However, wala tayong dx. So that means we cannot use this equation. Hindi pwede ang equation na ito. How about dito? Mayroon tayong time. Do we have VFY? O wala tayong VFY. VIY lang ang given. So that means we cannot use this equation. How about the last equation? Kasi mayroon ding time. Do we have dy? Do we have dy? 45. Hindi pala natin nasulat. Isulat muna natin. That is 45 meters above the ground. Mula sa ground hanggang dito sa taas, that is 45 meters. 45.0 meters. Para hindi mo makalimutan, lagyan agad ng negative sign. Baka kasi makalimutan mo later na lagyan ng negative sign. Sir, bakit nilagyan natin ng negative sign? Because that is below the origin. Ito yung origin natin, tama? And it is below the origin. So that is why kailangan natin lagyan ng negative sign. Do you follow? dy, it is already given. That is negative 45.0 meters. VIY, yes, we already have VIY. So that means we can use the last equation kasi given lahat. dy is equal to VIYT plus 1/2 GT squared. Ayan. So, dalawa ang time. Di ba? This is quadratic equation. Tama? So, ibig sabihin, gagamit tayo later ng quadratic formula. Di ba? I hope na-remember nyo pa yung quadratic formula. So let us substitute all the given values. I-transpose natin into standard form of the quadratic equation. So this is negative 45.0 meters equals VIY natin is 10.0 meters per second T plus 1/2 G. What is our G? Negative 9.81 meters per second squared times T squared. Okay? So, ano natin? This is convert natin into standard form. Diba ang standard form sa quadratic equation? Ano man itong standard form sa quadratic equation? A x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Tama? So, transpose natin siya, i-convert natin siya into standard form. So, that will become 0. Transpose natin sa 45 doon sa kabila. So, positive 45.0 meters plus 10.0 meters per second T. So, open ko na lang ha. Plus, what is 1/2 of 9.81 divided by 2? That is 4.905. That's negative. Negative man. So ako lang butangan ako negative ha. Minus 4.905 meters per second squared T squared. That is already the standard form. So alam natin na this is A. This is A. This is B. And this is C sa ating standard form. Ano ba yung equation natin? How are we going to solve for time? We will use the quadratic formula. Ano ba yung quadratic formula? We have negative B plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Di ba muna yung quadratic formula? So time. So yan ang gagamitin natin na equation to solve for the time. Okay, so asan dito yung a natin? Ang a natin is negative 4.905. Ang b natin is 10. Ang c natin is 45. So substitute natin yan dito sa equations natin. So negative b, so time is equal to negative, ano ba yung b natin? Our b is 10. Negative 10 plus minus square root of, ano yung b natin is 10. 10 squared. Hindi na lang ako batang units ha. 10 squared minus ba to? Minus minus 4 times a. Unsa man na tong a? Our a is 45. Minus 45. 45 times sa to ang ay tama AC maghapon na 4 negative 4.905. 4.905 ba to? Ayan, 4.905. All over 2 times A. Our A is negative 4.905. Okay? So anong ang possible answers nito? Dalawa ang possible answers diyan. So this is negative 10 plus minus 31, 31.351236602 divided by this is negative 9.81. So meron tayong dalawang possible answers dito. Ano yung possible answers natin for time? So time can be, possible answer for time is negative 2.1764 seconds, or meron ding time na kasi plus and minus yan, so dapat dalawa. So negative 10 minus 31.351236602 divided by negative 9.81. Or it could also be positive 4.2152 and so on seconds. Now, saan dito yung answer natin? Remember, time can only be a positive quantity. Tama? Positive man always si time. So that means our final answer for time should be katong positive. So kaning ay positive nga answer na. So time now, time is equivalent to 4.22 seconds with 3 significant figures. So that is how we are going to solve for time. For case 3, so proceed tayo sa letter B. For letter B, ang hinahanap is range. And to solve for range, that is just VIX times time. Tama? Ano ba yung VIX natin? Ang VIX natin is 17.3205. 17.3205 meters per second times, ano yung time natin? Ito, 4.22 seconds. 4.22 seconds. And that will give us 4.22 times 17.3205 equals, that is 73.09251 meters. Or how many significant figures? We need 3 significant figures. So that means our answer for the R range is equal to 73.1 meters. Ayan, this is our final answer, 73.1 meters. Now, let's proceed sa letter C. Ano ba yung hinahanap natin sa letter C? Sa letter C, the final velocity. Okay, now take note, if we are going to solve for any velocities, this is a two-dimensional motion. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan natin si VFX, kasi nga, this is a two-dimensional motion. And of course, si VFY. VFY. Ayan. Now, what is our VFX? Remember, sa projectile motion, the velocity along the x-axis is constant. Tama? Constant motion man si x. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng values natin sa x will be the same. Ano yung x natin? Araw, 17.3205 because it is constant at any point sa ating projectile motion. So our VFX is also 17.33205. 3205 meters per second. Don't forget, meron lang three significant figures. Now, our VFY is what is unknown. That is why, before natin ma-solve si VF, kailangan muna natin i-solve si VFY. Solve muna si VFY. Ano ang gagamitan natin na equation? Sulat muna natin lahat ng equations dito. We have, these are the equations. VF ang ating hinahanap. VFY. Saan dito ang may VFY? Equation 2, mayroong VFY sa equation 2. So that means, check natin if all the other variables are present. Do we have G? Yes, we have G. Do we have VIY? Meron ba tayong VIY? Di ba meron tayong VIY kanina? Ayun, we have VIY. Check. And do we have time? Yes, check. So that means we can use this equation. Kapag final velocity talaga ang hinahanap natin, ito yung equation na gagamitin natin. Okay, so that is G is equal to VFY minus VIY over time. So to derive VFY, cross multiply mo lang yan. So that is GT is equal to VFY minus VIY. And then transpose si VIY. So that will become GT plus VIY is equal to VFY. So yan na yung equation. Take note of this equation. This is to solve for the final velocity dito. Yan ang gagamitin natin na equation. So substitute all the given variables. VFY is equal to, what is our G? Our G is negative 9.81 meters per second squared times the time. Ano yung time natin? Time natin is 4.22 seconds. 4.22 seconds. Plus, ano yung VIY natin? VIY. VIY is 10 meters per second. 10.0 meters per second. Okay? So, calculate lang natin. And that is 31, 31 point, 31, negative 31, negative 31.3982 meters per second. So take note how many significant figures lang yan. VFY is equal to negative 31.4 meters per second. So yan. So ito yung VFY natin. Bakit negative? Because it is going downwards. Now, meron na tayong dito. Isulat natin yan dito. That is negative 31.4 meters per second. So paano natin ngayon isolve si VF? Of course, we will now use the what? We will use the Pythagorean theorem. Tama? Diba? Ganun naman talaga ang gagawin natin kapag isolve natin yung isang resultant. So VF is equal to the square root of, this is x, so 17.3205 meters per second squared plus itong isa, negative 31.4 meters per second squared. And that will give us pila. It will give us a final velocity of 35.860 and so on meters per second. But we need how many significant figures? We need 3 significant figures. So our final answer for the final velocity is 35.9 meters per second. Ayan. So this is our final answer.